Hello guys, this is Benny from Kamui Cosplay and I'm back with another Fallout video. Yeah, I know, the game is old and everybody's playing Zelda and Horizon right now, but guess what? I don't give a shit. And since you're watching this video right now, seems like you also have nothing better to do, so let's do this. What you see here is the Pipe Revolver pistol. It's the first prop I completely 3D modeled by myself. If you want to follow along with the build, you can download the 3D model I made for free by clicking on the link here. And while you are on our website, make sure to grab one of our amazing cosplay making books, which are super cheap and good, and Svetlana is totally not forcing me to say this. And yes, I am giving this away to one of you awesome people who support our videos on Patreon. Just click on the link here to see how you can win it. I've also put a link in the video description below. But now, let's start. Here you can see the reference from the game. The pistol is basically just a few squares and pipes, so perfect for a newcomer like me. I chose to create my 3D model in Fusion 360 because it's really beginner friendly and also free to use for artists. The basic principle of this program is not that different from building a prop in real life. You just start by drawing a blueprint. After you're done, you can now select parts of it and turn them into three-dimensional shapes. It's all pretty straightforward. I sped up the process here since the video would have turned out really long otherwise. But let me know in the comments if you're interested in that kind of stuff, and I can upload the full modeling video later. The only thing that was a little bit more tricky was to find good spots to cut the model for 3D printing. In total I ended up with 22 individual parts. I have no idea if that's good or not, and I also don't care. Next I sent the files over to our 3D printer, and then I had to wait a lot. These machines really take forever. I could have printed the gun in fewer parts as well, but honestly I find it a lot easier to sand and work with individually. You can always just glue together the parts later anyway. Time to plop them off the heat plate. And yes, this is actually as satisfying as it looks. Plop plop. One final check to see if I got them all. And yes, looks good. Now let's move on to the fun part. Sanding. I like to use a small sanding machine, because let's be honest, who wants to sand all of this by hand anyway? The quality of our printer is actually really good, so I don't have to sand a whole lot to get rid of the layer lines. Some of the bigger pieces still took some time, however. Oh yeah, and don't forget to wear a dust mask if you do this. You really don't want to get that plastic in your lungs. After I was done, I grabbed a sanding sponge with a finer grit and went all over my parts a second time. By melting my ABS support material in acetone, I got a super strong glue that will probably hold my pieces together for all eternity. And to apply it, I will be using this luxuriously handcrafted designer toothpick. I marked where I wanted my piece to be, put a little bit of ABS glue to both sides, and then waited for like 20 seconds. Same with the second screw, and my handle was done. Time to move over to the main body. I stuck on some smaller details as well as the trigger, and after that I could directly glue my main body to the handle. The more glue you use, the longer it will need to dry. This was pretty useful to adjust the position for some of my larger pieces. I actually separated my pipes into multiple sections for printing. So before I could glue them on, I had to connect them again first. To hide the seams, I smeared on a bit of spot putty and then sanded it down again. Now I had to decide if I wanted my cylinder to be movable or stuck. But since I had not designed my 3D model with this in mind, I decided to just stick it on in the right position. A bit of more glue and I could finally connect the pipes to the main body. There were only a few details missing, like the front side and this little clip that holds the cylinder in place. With all the parts on, the gun was finally ready to be painted. To get the surface really smooth, I decided to coat my piece with a layer of automotive spray primer. This also had to be sanded down again. Doing this is pretty optional though, and thinking about it now, I would just probably skip it next time. In fact, when we printed our Pip-Boy before, we directly spray painted the plastic without any primer as well, so I'm not really sure why I did that. But now, time to paint. My first step was to apply a thick layer of silver acrylic spray paint. It's actually a good idea to make a little test piece first to try out your paint job. I was pretty happy how my test turned out, so it was time to start. I grabbed a can of hairspray and sprayed a thin layer all over my gun. Then I mixed some rusty looking airbrush color and covered parts of the main body with it. Now the trick is to grab a bristle brush and then scratch the brown color away again. The hairspray underneath will protect the silver, so I'm only getting rid of the brown on top. By dunking my brush into a little bit of water, I'm also able to get rid of bigger flakes. And the good thing is that I can actually just spray over some more brown if I made a mistake. And to create some of the more linear scratches, I just took my toothbrush again. Now this looks really dirty. Since I wanted to have more dirt in some of the crevices, I also took a smaller brush and just put on some more color. Next, I glued on my missing clamp and took some gunmetal silver color to hand paint the bullets. Since the gun was already super dirty, this last step is also pretty optional. But anyway, I took some dark brown oil color and brushed in some more dirt and shadows. Then I wiped most of it away again and repeated this step for the entire gun until I was satisfied. Now if this doesn't look like the rusty revolver from the game, can't say I'm not satisfied. Time to seal the paint job with a thin layer of clear coat, and then glue on the missing tape for the grip. One pipe revolver pistol ready to go. And yes, I know there should be a hole right here. But I noticed this way too late, so who cares? It's still good enough to shoot those deformed wasteland animals. I had a pretty hard time modeling this gun, so do you think 3D printing is still cheating in cosplay? I'm sure someone with metal or wood experience could have made this prop a lot quicker actually. But anyway, if you like this video, make sure to shoot the subscribe button here, or head down to the comment section to write me a nice comment. I'll just head over there now so we can meet there and talk more, so see you later.